Today, Canto XXIX of Dante's Purgatorio, in which the lady who is called Matilda moves along the side of the stream in a contrary direction to the current, and Dante keeps equal pace with her on the opposite bank. A marvelous sight, preceded by music, appears in view. Now, on Kurt reads a poem, Canto number 29 of Dante's Purgatorio. Singing like unto an enamored lady, she, with the ending of her words, continued, Beate quorum tecta sunt peccata. And even as nymphs that wandered all alone among the sylvan shadows, sedulous, one to avoid and one to see the sun, she then against the stream moved onward, going along the bank and I abreast of her, her little steps with little steps attending. Between her steps and mine were not 100, when equally the margins gave a turn, in such a way that to the east I faced. Nor even thus our way continued far, before the lady wholly turned herself unto me, saying, Brother, look and listen. And lo, a sudden lustre ran across on every side athwart the spacious forest, such that it made me doubt if it were lightning. But since the lightning ceases as it comes, and that continuing brightened more and more, within my thought I said, What thing is this? And a delicious melody there ran along the luminous air, whence holy zeal made me rebuke the hardihood of Eve. For there where earth and heaven obedient were, the women only, and but just created, could not endure to stay neath any veil. Underneath which, had she devoutly stayed, I sooner should have tasted those delights ineffable, and for a longer time. While mid such manifold first fruits I walked of the eternal pleasure all enwrapped, and still solicitous of more delights, in front of us, like an enkindled flame, became the air beneath the verdant boughs, and the sweet sound as singing now was heard. O Virgin sacrosanct, if ever hunger, vigils, or cold for you I have endured, the occasion spurs me now their reward to claim. Now Helicon must needs pour forth for me, and with her choir Urania must assist me, to put in verse things difficult to think. A little farther on, 7 trees of gold, in semblance the long spade still intervening between ourselves and them, did counterfeit. But when I had approached so near to them, the common object which the sense deceives lost not by distance any of its marks. The faculty that lends discourse to reason did apprehend that they were candlesticks, and in the voices of the song, Hosanna. Above them flamed the harness beautiful, far brighter than the moon in the serene of midnight at the middle of her month. I turned me round with admiration filled to good Virgilius, and he answered me with visage no less full of wonderment. Then back I turned my face to those high things, which moved themselves towards us so sedately they had been distanced by new-wedded brides. The lady chid me, Why dost thou burn only so with affection for the living lights, and dost not look at what comes after them? Then I saw people, as behind their leaders, coming behind them, garmented in white, and such a whiteness never was on earth. The water on my left flank was resplendent, and back to me reflected my left side, even as a mirror if I looked therein. When I upon my margin had such post that nothing but the stream divided us, better to see I gave my steps repose, and I beheld the flamelets onward go, leaving behind themselves the air depicted, and they of trailing pennons had the semblance, so that it overhead remained distinct with 7-fold lists, all of them of the colors whence the sun's bow is made in Delilah's girdle. These standards to the rearward longer were than was my sight, and as it seemed to me 10 paces were the outermost apart. Under so fair a heaven as I described, the 24 elders 2 by 2 came on in coronet with fleur-de-lis. They all of them were singing, Blessed thou among the daughters of Adam art, and blessed for evermore shall be thy loveliness. After the flowers and other tender grasses in front of me upon the other margin were disencumbered of that race elect, even as in heaven star followeth after star, there came close after them 4 animals, in coronet each one with verdant leaf. Plumed with 6 wings was every one of them, with plumage full of eyes. The eyes of Argus, if they were living, would be such as these. Reader, to trace their forms no more I waste my rhymes, for other spendings press me so, that I in this cannot be prodigal. But read Ezekiel, who depicteth them as he beheld them from the region cold, coming with cloud, with whirlwind, and with fire, and such as thou shalt find them in his pages, such were they here, saving that in their plumage John is with me, and differeth from him. The interval between these four contained a chariot triumphal on 2 wheels, which by a griffin's neck came drawn along, and upward he extended both his wings between the middle list and 3, so that he injured none by cleaving it. So high they rose that they were lost to sight. His limbs were gold so far as he was bird, and white the others with vermilion mingled. Not only Rome with no such splendid car e'er gladded Africanus or Augustus, but poor to it that of the sun would be, that of the sun which swerving was burnt up at the importunate horizon of earth when Jove was so mysteriously just. 3 maidens at the right wheel in a circle came onward dancing, one so very red that in the fire she hardly had been noted. The second was as if her flesh and bones had all been fashioned out of emerald. The third appeared as snow but newly fallen. And now they seemed conducted by the white, now by the red, and from the song of her the others took their step, or slow or swift. Upon the left hand 4 made holiday, vested in purple, following the measure of one of them with 3 eyes in her head. In rear of all the group here, treated of 2 old men I beheld, unlike in habit but like in gait, each dignified and grave. One showed himself as one of the disciples of that supreme Hippocrates, whom nature made for the animals she holds most dear. Contrary care the other manifested, with sword so shining and so sharp it caused terror to me on this side of the river. Thereafter 4 I saw of humble aspect, and behind all an aged man alone, walking in sleep with countenance acute. And like the foremost company, these 7 were habited, yet of the fleur-de-lis, nor garland round about the head they wore, but of the rose and other flowers vermilion. At little distance would the sight have sworn that all were in a flame above their brows, and when the car was opposite to me, thunder was heard, and all that folk august seemed to have further progress interdicted, there with the vanward ensigns standing still. Thus ends Canto 29 of Dante's Purgatorio. Hey, thanks for watching and have a great day.